Hello and welcome. We are back. The editor. Oh, I fucked it up. I fucked it up. You know what? Fuck it. You do it.
And welcome back, everyone, to the editor and the alien.
Fuck you. It was easy for you.
Oh, what? I've been like, having that persona all day on the phones.
Okay, yeah, okay. Maybe you should do the intros from now on.
Well, I had been doing them for a while.
Yeah, okay, let's do this.
Anyway, I am your host, the night editor, Kat Rocha, and with me is the lovely and charming
author and alien in a human suit, J.Ishiro Finney. So we're going to do a little bit of an introduction for this show because, as you can see by the topic, this is going to be a special one.
Well, I got myself a 9-inch monster, and I always swallow.
And what flavor is this monster? I see it's green.
It is green.
Let's see what this says. This 9-inch monster.
It says Ultra Paradise.
Wow, the can says Ultra Paradise. That
I'm being taken to Flavor
But
Town.
it has 0 sugar.
Yes.
Flavored country, yeah. All right. Well, little known fact, a common topic of conversation that I'll bring up at random every once in a while with Kat is if there's nothing to talk about, or it's kind of a dull day, or I just want to get her talking and I want to hear something funny, I'll bring up romance novels and romance plots and how romances are written. And I guess she didn't realize it. Why did you think I used to ask about it?
I just thought that you liked watching me rant.
Well, yeah, that's exactly why I ask you, because your responses are hilarious. And, often I just had to say a little bit and suddenly you were on a roll.
Yeah.
And it came up today and I said, you know what? I think the audience needs to hear this. Because, they want to hear you rant. They want to hear you go off on things.
So we aim to please.
So here was the plan, and I'm going to try and read what I'll do is we're going to do blind readings. They're blind to Kat. I've selected a handful of books where I've grabbed the back cover blurbs. Most of these are on top 10 lists, by the way. So this isn't like some obscure I fuck the T-Rex type thing, or what was it? Bigfoot sex.
Yeah, the Bigfoot.
No, I mean, these are real romance novels. They're actually like on the bestseller list. This isn't some bizarre, Kindle porn that somebody wrote and made a few bucks off of.
Is this like the girl who was pretending to be a fuckbot so that the pirate that she's fallen in love with her will keep her in his bedroom?
Oh shit! I should have nabbed that one. I'll see if I can't read that one.
Oh fuck! He's grabbing his Kindle.
I'm gonna try and look that up right now. But yeah, so essentially what's going to go on is I'm going to read these back cover blurbs and then just get Kat to react.
Okay, real quick, Elias Claude. Speaking of romance, I just bought right here, waiting from Richard Marx on Amazon, and I'm like, I'm sorry, Elias. I think Richard Marx and I think Hazard, which is far from romantic.
Hazard?
Yeah, it's his other hit song. That's the one where it's actually based on a true story where a boy was accused of killing his girlfriend, and it wasn't him, but I think a lynch mob got him, actually.
That's pretty depressing.
Yeah, and Richard Marx did a song about it. I love that song, but it's really depressing.
Isn't he a Canuck?
That I don't know.
And he's got that really big hair.
Yes, he does have the big hair. And here's another thing for you. That Right Here Waiting song. You want to know how old I was when I first heard that song?
I was in high school. I think I was a freshman in high school.
I was in kindergarten.
Oh, Jesus. I was a freshman in high school. I'm an awful person. Okay. Let's see. Well, you know what? Let's read one of these. I think everybody's tumbled into the room by now. I think we can get started with reading these, and we'll just get a reaction.
Okay.
Now, again, I've got to stress these are all sci-fi, fantasy, and urban fantasy romance novels specifically. These aren't your run-of-the-mill. What is it? She loves a cowboy or a pirate or some shit like that. This is apparently there's a booming market in this stuff.
What? There's always been Harlequin romance. There was a while where it was like so disposable. You'd go to the grocery store, see an entire like aisle of these books, and you come back 3 days later and all of those books would be gone and new ones had replaced them. That's how quickly they turned over. And you'd buy them in the grocery store.
I know. I'm quite aware. I remember those days. I remember it very well. I was a kid in the 80s, remember? And
didn't your aunt just go nuts for them?
Just had piles of these things. And you know what? I'll tell you, when you're a 10-year-old and you're starting to notice girls and tits and stuff, those covers in the 80s were pretty racy. Especially the ones where you opened, there was like a cover in the cutout and you opened and it showed a lot more.
Oh, God, yeah.
So let me tell you, as a 10-year-old, those books in the supermarket were like the best chance to see tits for a while. So, okay. So let's get started here. Claimed by her two alphas, Double Trouble, by Sedona Venez.
Is that what he named his balls?
Two gorgeous werebears.
You sure she's a she? You sure this isn't bear fetish?
I'm just going to read these.
Is one's named Teddy?
The other was Ruxpin?
Exactly.
There's two gorgeous werebears and one woman who gave up on the idea of true love long ago. Down on her luck, a plus-size single, Sadie doesn't think she'll ever find love. So when her best friend Peyton...
Two bears and a fatty. They found the honey pot.
See what I mean? So when
I already got you lost.
Okay. Okay. Breathe. So when her best friend Peyton offers her a blind date, she initially refuses.
Peyton the soy boy?
I don't know.
Name like that. It sounds like Peyton's the soy boy. Or maybe Peyton's the fabulous homo that does her hair all pretty so she can have her picnic.
So initially she refuses. Why would she waste her time? Thankfully, Peyton isn't taking no for an answer. She knows that Sadie needs to try something new and different, even if it stands a chance of letting go of her insecurities and finally opening up her heart once again.
New and different and fuzzy.
The twist, Sadie is...
There's a twist?
The twist, Sadie is about to go on a blind date. Sadie is about to go on a blind date with not one, but two dangerously handsome men who just happen to be joint alphas of a werebear shifter clan. Dane and Jackson have been best...
Dane and Jackson? These are not straight men names.
Honey, this is a fucking bestseller. This was on a top 10 list of what's it, shifter romance novels.
Wow. Why not in one Darnell while you're at it?
Dane and Jackson have been the best of friends ever since they were young cubs. And when they made the when they both became the joint alphas of their clan, they agreed to share more than leadership, but even share their mate. For these two sexy werebears, it's quite simple. Convince the plus-size beauty that she is destined to be their mate, and they know just how to do it.
I love the constant reaffirming of, even though she's a fatty, she's still cute.
Poor Sadie doesn't realize just how wild these two are going to get. All right, well.
They're gonna find her picnic basket.
So, care to comment?
I've been making comments. Actually, you first started reading it, and I immediately thought, wouldn't it be much more interesting if you took that Canadian horror film?
Oh, the handyman?
No, with the perverted teenager who has the teddy bear who talks to him.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah,
Was that Teddy or?
Yeah. Yeah, it was called Teddy. And the thing is, in the original book, it's all in his head. But for the film, they made it that Teddy actually does talk to him, because the idea of a teenager, being that delusional and killing people disturbed the
That
censors
could
too
have been
much.
a really, really fucked up film. It just turned out to be silly because of the way they edited it.
Yeah, but I was just thinking, you redo it so that you have like Teddy and this kid, and you make them older, but you have it that like when one's a bear, the other's human, and you can flip them back and forth, and you can even keep the title of the film, which is The Pit.
Oh yeah, that's what the film was, wasn't it? It was The Pit.
Yeah, so you just keep that title.
Okay, so you know what? I think we're gonna have a long show tonight.
Oh darn.
We got some comments already.
Okay. Bears don't travel in packs, you boob. Yeah, no shit. Someone kill me. This whole thing is gay. It's not really a novel. No, it's a romance. And what did I talk about with my rule with romances is that typically with romance novels, you get one of two types of plots. Now, there's different variations and you can have combinations, but typically it's one of two types. It's the love triangle, either two guys, one girl, or two girls, one guy. Or it's the reverse Taming of the Shrew, where she tames him, or she shows him how to be a quote good person, or at least the type of person that she wants to fuck. Or
well, this doesn't sound like a triangle at all. This seems like a Werebear gangbang fatty.
No, that's a triangle. There is a triangle.
I thought that was a train.
No, they share, meaning they take turns. Therefore, it's a triangle. And in order for that scenario to work, she's going to have to decide which one she prefers, which is going to cause strife and conflict. And, then everybody will kiss and make up and fuck later. But that's how the plot, I'm willing to bet money, is how it's going to go.
Well, I'm not going to read it to find out, so. Okay, so we got a few more comments and we'll move on to the next.
Yogi and Teddy must fight for their one true fatty love. Indeed. Werebear mate eats all the Oreos. Nice.
Okay, so because you had mentioned it.
I had mentioned? Oh, the pirate one? Okay.
So this one isn't as much of a surprise because I actually told you about this one.
Yeah, but we are sharing it for our lovely audience.
But you still get to react because I don't think you've ever read the back of the book.
No, I haven't. I just heard you tell me about it.
Yeah, I read the back of this book and it was okay.
I'm sorry. Unqualified said Bareback Mountain.
Shit, these titles are way better. Hey, maybe you should write one of these, dude. Okay. Melting Iron by Loran Donner.
That's really what it's called?
Yes.
Shit. Okay. Wait. I need a swig from my monster.
You can't fit it all in your mouth? You can only swig it?
I could shotgun it. Do you want me to shotgun it? I'll let out a belch.
No. Being a female mechanic on a space station for 8 years.
I love how female mechanic. We have to get in there that not only is she a mechanic, but she does have a vagina.
Well, it's for women, right?
Exactly.
Kind of obsessed with that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Being a female mechanic on a space station for 8 years has been taught. Oh, being a space station. Sorry, this is on my Kindle, so the print's a bit smaller.
Do you want me to read it?
Okay, shit. Here you go.
Okay.
Let me. Yeah, unfortunately, my eyes aren't what they used to be. Let me put on my other glasses. Aging sucks.
Being a female mechanic on a space station for 8 years has taught Dawn a lot of tough life lessons that have hardened her heart. She's got a temper and a mouth to match her red hair, and has never backed away from a challenge. Jesus Christ. That is so by the numbers. Then she's kidnapped and blackmailed into agreeing to be a cyborg's personal sex slave. Iron is one big bastard with long, fiery red hair. Oh, like our protagonist? Intense, dark blue eyes, and a stubborn streak as thick as his dense muscles. I don't... Which muscle specifically are they referring to?
As thick as his dense muscle.
If Iron thinks he can tame her, he's about to learn that meek is not in Dawn's vocabulary. But with that handsome face, a body to die for, a wickedly talented tongue, and those magical hands, the guy just doesn't fight fair. Dawn is intent on melting Iron's icy resolve to never fall in love with a human. He's winning her heart, and she's determined to win his right back. These two redheads have just met their matches. Let the battle for love begin.
Now, I'm going to say that the back of this book is a bit misleading. I actually read the sample because this is one of the books we're considering savaging.
I thought she was kind of a wimp, wasn't she?
No, it was. I've read the sample for this because we were thinking about this is one of the books we may savage for good book, bad book, or we review a good book, then review a bad book. And this would be the bad book. And in the sample, it's not so much that she's forced into being a slave of the space pirate cyborg. I can't believe I said that. It's that she's on the space station and there's an airlock breach because a drunk starship captain crashed into it. And
smooth, dude.
These cyborg pirates figure, okay, in all the commotion, we'll steal the sex droids and get out of here, and we'll sell them once we hit landfall. And she hides with the sex bots and acts like a sex bot. And they grab her along with the rest, figuring, okay, this must just be somebody's weird fetish, lanky nerd girl. And the rest of the sample was her pretending to be a sex bot and all the trials and strifes of pretending to be a robot as the pirates did things to her.
It's like, making sure the right kind of lube comes out.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay. The next one. This one's actually short.
Okay.
Virgin.
That's what she said.
Virgin Tribute, a dark sci-fi romance by Delta James.
Wow. I hear the word virgin and that does not get me wet.
The beasts protect us. The beast protects us, but he also demands tribute. I was not asked. I was chosen. Every year, the creature who keeps our community safe requests a virgin tribute, and every year every year she is thoroughly ravaged, then returned ruined for any man.
Again, Dagon?
No one will tell me.
Is this fish love?
No one will tell me exactly what's in store for me.
Do we know where her fish lives?
But I know he's not going to be gentle with me.
What about this is erotic? Somebody failed on this back of the book description.
But the elders underestimate me, and when they left me in the sacred clearing, I took my chance to escape. Now the beast hunts me, and if he ever finds me, I can only wonder what he'll do to me.
Okay. 1, does this involve vor?
I have no idea.
2, did a chick write it?
Yeah, Delta James. Who the fuck knows if these are really written by men or women?
I think a chick wrote this.
I think a chick wrote most of these.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's a guy.
The bear one might have been written by a gay dude.
I think that was a gay dude, honestly.
I mean, that did sound pretty gay.
That was pretty gay. I mean, yeah.
Okay, we got another.
Let's put it this way: with the bear story, if it was a chick, she would have had it that their friendship with being quote, twin alphas, which is stupid. They would now like be fighting over her, and that would again be the love triangle conflict. They wouldn't be perfectly willing to share her. So no, that was a dude who wrote that. Totally, that this is a chick.
All right, next one. Auctioned, a dark sci-fi menagerie romance by Piper Stone.
Pipestone.
These names. Hey, this was actually one of the top sellers.
Dick Stronghard.
Dick Stronghard. Okay, that's gonna be my romance novel name, Dick Stronghard.
Dick Stronghard. Do I hear 50 cents? A quarter? How about a nickel? How about free? How about I give you $20 to take this bitch off my block?
Okay, Auctioned, a dark sci-fi menagerie romance.
Menagerie romance
by Piper Stone.
Oh my God.
They bought me at an auction. They'll keep me as a pet. 20 years ago, the Malazons saved us when we were at the brink of self.
The Malazons? What is this, like an erotic version of L. Ron Hubbard?
20 years, like male Amazon.
Yeah, male. Yeah. Oh, okay. I was also thinking of like the Quintessons with their tentacles.
20 years ago, the Malazons saved us when we were at the brink of self-annihilation. But there was a price for their inner...
See, this is what happens when women take over, is they're almost about to destroy themselves, and then men from space have to go save
their
them.
ass. But there was a price for their intervention. They demand humans as servants and as pets. Only criminals were supposed...
They're gonna pet the kitty.
Only criminals were supposed to be offered to the aliens for their use. But when I defied Earth's government, asking questions that no one else dare ask, I was sold to them at an auction.
Packages of 10.
I was bought by two of the most powerful commanders, rivals who nonetheless planned to share me. Now I am their property.
See, girl wrote it. Two men who are, powerful men are now going to fight over her. See, chick wrote it.
But okay.
And she's probably going to tame them, or at least one of them.
And now they're going to share me. I am their property. And they intend to tame me, train me, and enjoy me thoroughly.
Wow. Okay, or is this a sub fetish?
I have information they need, a guarded secret so zealous that if it's discovered, it'll cost me my freedom. And if they do not act quickly enough, both our worlds will be in grave danger.
So why are you being sold as a slave if you have this secret information? Wouldn't they have wanted that anyway?
Publisher's note. Auction includes spankings and sexual scenes. If such material offends you, please don't buy this book.
Oh, a B&D romance novel comes with a trigger warning. This is what happened with these times that we're in. It used to be you just put the subject matter as B&D and spanking, spanking fetish, and people would know.
Okay, we've got some comments.
Okay. This is the opposite of romantic. Indeed. It's not quite like Gore, but it's pretty up there. Who the fuck writes this shit? Apparently this person does.
Oh, these are old. Sorry, this was about the first one.
Oh. Dudes and bears don't share.
Well, bros before hoes, so bears before...
I
don't know. Fatties?
Brares before... Sounds pretty, God, I can't pronounce that word right.
Joshi? I don't know.
To me. Some women really like man-on-man action. There is nothing wrong with seeing two beautiful men going at it. I will say that. But they have to be beautiful men, and I am not into bears. A trigger warning for porn? Yeah, I don't understand.
Well, you know, women.
This porn might not get you off. I mean, they're going to Eiffel Tower her.
Okay.
Wishbone?
Wishbone, yeah, exactly.
Cat is Fujoshi. Oh, thank you. It's Fujoshi. Thank you.
Okay. No, Elias Claude. These aren't porn. They're romance novels. Women don't read porn or dirty books. Well, they're romances. Don't you understand?
Books can't be pornographic because they don't have pictures of half naked people on them.
Except on the cover.
Except on the cover, which is fine. But yes, it's fine literature and a romance.
I think I'm seeing a theme here. Captured for their use by Ivy Barrett.
Ivy Barrett. Wow. Okay. I immediately am going to. Someone likes playing video games.
Taken prisoner by the fearsome Yashonti, Celeste Mortison is given a choice. She will either be given to General Ram or to 4 of his warriors.
General Ram?
Ashamed.
God, again, why not just call him Dick Strongheart?
Ashamed at the thought of being shared, Celeste chooses General Ram, but as a battle-hardened brute, he strips her, spanks her, claims her hard and thoroughly. She quickly discovers he can easily make her blush crimson.
I love the shame of not being enslaved to General Ram. It's the shame of being shared. We got to have priorities here. There's a hierarchy to, being someone's slave.
When a Ventori commander arrives to negotiate with General Ram and promptly tries to fight him to death over Celeste, it soon becomes clear she is bonded to both, and she will be shamed after all. Again,
chick wrote it because it's 2 guys fighting over her.
Still more disturbing, both of them have gone into rut, and they won't.
Gone into rut? What is he? An actual ram?
They're aliens.
Oh, they're aliens.
Yeah, from the Yashonti race.
See, that's not very clear by this back of the book. I just thought it was some weird fantasy, like tribal bullshit where Yashanti was like bullshit for Romans.
Actually, it could be some sort of fantasy world. It's not really clear, is it?
But
you know what? I think that they weren't so much concerned about communicating to the audience the setting or the characters, but that she would be stripped and taken hard and brutally and spanked.
But by one person. I mean, so far, as much as I'm laughing about it, this is pretty tame to considering what's in Gore. I mean, Gore, quite frankly, set the bar pretty high.
I'm sorry. So far, we have yet to top the Bears. That was wow.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Now I'm picturing those bears like reenacting those Charmin commercials where they're having orgasmic toilet paper.
Okay, we're moving on now. More disturbing still is both generals have gone into rut, and they won't merely be using her in ways to pleasure. They'll also be mounting her and breeding her like a wild beast.
Again, going into rut. I mean, there's not many animals that quote rut. I mean, there's heat. There's, just plain fucking horny. Hey, it's mating season. I mean, again, is he an actual ram?
It could be. I don't know.
I mean, does somebody really want to fuck the Baphomet statue?
People want to fuck anything, I've noticed. There are people that want to fuck gigantic steel smokestacks, apparently. It's a real fetish. There's actually also a statue fetish.
I did know there was a statue fetish.
Okay.
Which I kind of understand because they're human looking, unless they're not human.
No, there's ones where they're like bizarre shit.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But let's get back to this. Though Celeste is shocked to be ravaged in such a humiliating fashion, her body responds.
She's only just now shocked?
Her body responds to their rough dominance in an even more alarming way, and with every stern punishment and shattering climax, she feels more surrendered to them completely, becoming closer to them both. But will the love for Celeste bring the alliance of not only these mates, but the two worlds themselves?
I thought she was enslaved to them. You don't, not that she's in love with them.
Okay, so thoughts on that one?
It leaves me with questions, and yet ultimately I am disappointed and sad. There's so many potentials that it could have taken, and yet it didn't. It went for like the most bottom of the barrel, boring, two guys give her passionate sex and they fight over her, and maybe they'll then all be friends at the end and have a huge orgy. I mean, again, there are so many different ways that could have been taken. Really, I'm just more disappointed that the person also didn't explain what setting this is. Are these aliens? Are these fantasy creatures? Are they fawns? Is General Ram a fucking fawn,
What's a fawn?
A fawn is a half goat man.
Oh. I thought that was a
Satyr?
Yeah, I thought that was a satyr.
No, fawns are also fawns.
The fawns?
Yes, the fawns.
Okay, so we've got some fun comments here.
This is some grade A heresy. Indeed. So was Gore written for women or men, or is it for everyone?
I can answer that one, actually. From what I can understand, John Norman was just writing what got him hard into books. And supposedly the first Gore novel is actually more of a straight Conan-esque barbarian knockoff. And they just got more and more progressively BDSM.
There are a lot of series that are like that.
And that's at least what I know from people that have read them. The weird thing about it, though, is, apparently Gore is really, really abusive and is really into, humiliation and torture. And it was written by a guy, and this is what got him off, but there is a ridiculous number of women who love it and are just obsessed with it, down to apparently there are whole communities that will actually role play it live.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, as long as they're all consenting adults, fine.
And there is a striking number of feminists who've purchased all the books and read them so that they can write about how offensive they are.
Read them multiple times, in fact.
Yes, and written entire dissertations on them.
Yes.
Because they're so offended by them.
Yes. Quite frankly, I have read a portion of one of the Gore books. Yes, it was out of context, but I was curious. I wanted to see how deep the rabbit hole went. And that is a rabbit hole I do not want to tread into.
Didn't you say even the censored one where they had replaced all the really vile scenes with words like flower?
Yeah.
It left you sick to your stomach?
Yeah, it did. It made me physically ill reading it. But hey, at least as far as I know, it's all adults who are involved in the books. And if that really gets your rocks off, okay. It's just not for me. Janelle says, Dawdle, it used to drive me insane listening to yaoi fangirls going nuts over I know Kusabi. Oh my God, yaoi. Oh, shit.
See, it's okay because girls read it. It's perfectly fine to have that in the main hall on full display, but if there's hentai, it needs to be in a back room under a black slip.
No, what got me was in high school. For me, the rule was as long as it's yaoi or yuri, it's perfectly fine. Why? Because it's gay, and therefore it's okay.
Oh, it's representation.
Well, no, it was like for some reason it was considered safer. So girls and middle-aged women fapping it off to 16-year-old boys fucking each other was perfectly fine. Anybody, including men, reading Yuri, 13-year-old girls fucking each other that's perfectly okay too. But if it was boy and girl or girl and boy, oh fuck,
No,
you are a
actually,
total perv.
no, grown men reading Yuri have been arrested and taken to prison, especially in Canada.
When I was in high school, the boys in school reading Yuri, it was perfectly fine.
Really?
Yeah, because it was Japanese.
Oh.
So therefore, it's not that you're reading porn, you're reading Japanese.
No, apparently now Yuri's considered kiddie porn. In Canada, I know people have gone to prison for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yowie's still okay because girls read it.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that friend of Jules who was kind of a feminist bitch, and we got in an argument with her where she kept going on about how comics needed to be censored, and these horribly demeaning images of women. Like she was getting on you because you liked Power Girl,
Mm-hmm.
and she was going on about how that was so demeaning. And then we started talking about, well, what about you and all that yaoi? I mean, this fucking pedo shit. You like seeing teenagers go at it?
Mm-hmm.
What are you? You're 32. What kind of pedo does that? And she just went berserk
Mm-hmm.
about how, oh, no, it's different.
Yeah, I remember that. And yes, I will admit I went down the yaoi route, but it was more because it was characters I was really into, and quite frankly, I was baffled by the things that people were having these characters do.
They're just drawings.
No, it was reading.
Oh, reading.
It was stories.
Oh, okay.
It was fanfic on the interweb in the year 2000.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the actual mangas.
No, this was Gundam Wing fanfic yaoi, specifically the Choose Your Own Adventure yaoi. And it was more like, dear God, why are they doing that to each other? Kat, I bet you do better sci-fi fantasy romance stories. I could tell it's gonna be bonkers. Actually been working on one.
It's a mystery project.
It is.
It's a mystery project that involves a very lonely robot on a moon of a distant world, and there are these two bear aliens.
It's a mystery box, but I'm not using the mystery box to write it.
He's a fat robot, you see, and he's given up on love.
What is it, like that? Is it the first Star Crash film where you had the two duck robots who tried to commit suicide because they couldn't fuck each other?
No, that was one of those Italian, what was it, the Clash of the Robots or something. It was the one where it was so bad you couldn't even get through it.
No, it was awful.
And it had the guy who played Toblerone in it.
Toblerone
from Escape 2000.
Yeah.
Or was it Bronx Warrior Part 2? Or
Leave Bronx.
Okay, so another one.
We should try to do a dramatic reading of the most recent Anita Blake clusterfuck. No, thank you. I loved the first 3 books. The 4th book, I'm like, huh? And the 5th book, I went, holy fuck, it's turned to porn. And then a friend of mine shoved the 9th book into my hand and said, just start from here. And I don't think I got through the first chapter. Just no, there's better romance shit out there than that Anita Blake fuckfest. Kronsky, I'm embarrassed. I don't know what Gore is besides a racial slur against gorillas. Is that real?
I have no idea. Okay, from what I understand, this is just my knowledge by osmosis. I'm sure you could find plenty of info about it on Wikipedia. From what I know, John Norman was a pulp writer, and he wrote a whole bunch of novels in the 70s called Gore. And Gore is this mirror Earth that's always on the opposite side of the sun, so we can never see it. And there's some sort of magical porthole that this guy can go through to get to the other world from time to time. And it's obvious this guy who leaves his professor job from time to time to be a warrior on Gore is Norman's, avatar.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
alternate persona.
Apparently just essentially imagine your run-of-the-mill sword and sorcery desert type world with lots of barbaric stuff.
It's a brutal and harsh world.
Yes, but it centers very heavily on slave trading and BDSM, and women are used as currency, I think.
And they made at least 2 films based on the books, and both of them had Jack Palance in them.
And yeah, the movies aren't There's not even nudity, just to give you a hint. They're really, really terrible.
They're awful.
Um,
Jack Palance is really the only good thing
they're
about them.
really terrible Italian sci-fi films, and one of them was done on MST3K. It is great.
Oh yeah. Check out Outlaw of Gore, and it's hysterical. It'll tell you everything you need to know. So Gore was a self-insert for the author.
The character was, and he was what, Cabot?
Cabot, like John Cabot, I think.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So, this one I know for a fact is a cyberpunk romance sci-fi.
Is it real cyberpunk or is it like stupid cyberpunk?
Fuck, I don't know. I didn't read it. Okay. Marked, a dark sci-fi romance.
Marked?
By Sarah Fields. I know how to handle men who don't take no for an answer.
I'm noticing a pattern with these back of the book blurbs being done in first person. You know, again, it's that whole bit of the main protagonist in a romance book is supposed to be a stand-in for the reader, who is typically a female who is reading these books. Now, way back in high school when I was perusing these books because they were hilarious. In fact, I got kicked out of the library for doing that. The back of the book blurb was done in third person. So I find it interesting that the self-insert has become like so dominant in how it's told that the back of the book is done in first person.
I've actually started to notice something in books, descriptions and reviews. Is if you start seeing the word MC as in main character, I can't, maybe I'm wrong about this, but every time I come across this, it seems to imply, okay, this book is an insert, so that you get to insert yourself as the main character.
And, well, let's face it, that is a big trend with, the younger generation coming up, is that they seem to need to be able to insert themselves into
otherwise they can't relate to a character.
Yeah, which is weird because I know...
Oh, no, it isn't. It means they're completely narcissistic and can't fathom seeing through another person's eyes or sympathizing with their experience.
And I know for females in general, they usually want to map themselves onto, or at least say, I can relate to a certain character. It's just the way females are wired. There's nothing good or bad about it. It's just the way females are wired. We judge other people by how well we can relate to that other person. That's why a lot of women, when they talk, they say, oh, I understand what you mean because I had this happen to me. Most of the time, they're not being rude and trying to turn the conversation to themselves. They're showing how they relate to you because you have something in common and they're sharing that sameness with you.
So that's a real evolutionary flaw because guys find that really fucking obnoxious. If a guy does that, he's... it's like a really, that would night and day. That is like the worst thing to do.
That's actually why I make a point of I don't do that when I'm talking to guys, to the point where they're not used to women not talking
and
back
I've noticed
to them.
I've noticed with women, if you don't do the I know that too, they get weird. Yeah,
they get very weird. They're like, are you still paying attention? Are you there still? So so the mapping on is very common. That's actually why ensemble casts for girls work so well, is because there's always going to be the one girl that the audience member can map themselves onto. Like, using as an example a conversation that happened earlier in the chat, Sailor Moon, is you have the 5 main core girls. There's always going to be that one member of the group that the female audience member can map themselves onto, or at least say, I relate to that character, and that's their connection to the story. So with romance books, that's always the bit, is you always make the main character, give them just enough personality so that the story can function.
And how do you explain Twilight? That character didn't have any personality.
I never read the books, so I can't tell you about the books.
No, oh yeah. Well, it was like, remember
And-
these segments that were posted on the internet? She was a fucking bored.
Yeah, but there wasn't much to her in those segments.
Yeah.
And if you remember, people hated Bella's portrayal in the movies. They loved Edward, they loved everybody else, but they hated Bella. Why? Because Bella now had a face. And if we go back to our conversation earlier today when we were talking, I played for you the opening segment of Romancing the Stone.
Yeah.
And if for those of you who have not seen Romancing the Stone, you need to go see it. It is one of the best films ever made, quite frankly. It's one of my favorites, at least. But the main character is a romance novelist, and the movie starts with an acting of the end of her latest book. And if you pay attention, the main female protagonist and the male love interest have no face. The entire time that you see them, you never see their face. Why? Because those characters are made for the reader to map themselves on the woman and map their ideal guy on the man. And that's how it works. So the fact that these back of the book descriptions are being done all in first person, so there's no description whatsoever of the main character other than perhaps the points that they want to bring out, like she is, quote, plus size, or...
That actually was written in third person.
Yeah, it was, but I'm just using that as an example.
Okay, yeah, I want to answer that.
Okay. Once be read multiple novel with an MC, and I gave up on the multiple character, and because most of them I could not tell if the MC is a man or a woman.
Okay, so am I right in assuming that MC means that it's pretty much the main character isn't a character? You're supposed to imagine yourself as that person in that place? I'm just curious because I keep seeing that term, and essentially that's what I deduced from reading these. So who knows?
Kind of reminds me of those old choose your own adventure where it's you do this and it's all written in second person.
Yeah, and those books sucked.
Yeah, they did suck. They thoroughly sucked.
There was only one of those that I ever read that was good, and it was made by a role-playing game company, and the descriptions were great, and it was down to the point that you had to use a 6-sided die, and your character had stats, and you had encounters, and you might get killed in the book depending on.
Dude, that's amazing.
And you could pick your skills, and that was the only choose your own adventure I ever read, and it was from another company. Actually, I think it was Steve Jackson Games.
It's like a one-person adventure module.
It was, except it was really long.
I'm jealous. That sounds awesome.
And they had illustrations for all the encounters, and I wish I still had that book.
Are we breathing it?
Yeah, another thing that went up. Well, actually, no. I bet my parents gave it away or sold it when I went to college. Okay, so Marked, a dark sci-fi romance by Sarah Fields. I know how to handle men who won't take no for an answer, but Silas isn't a man. He's a beast who takes what he wants, as long and as hard and as savagely as he pleases. And tonight he wants me.
Are you serious? Is that really what it says?
Read it. Read it back.
Tonight he wants me. He's not even pretending he's going to be gentle. He's going to ravish me, and it's going to hurt. I'll be spanked into quivering submission and used thoroughly and shamefully, but even when the endless series of helpless, screaming climaxes is finally over, I won't just be sore and spent. I will be marked. My body will no longer be mine. It will be his to use, his to enjoy, and his to breed. Oh, now that just turned it off. And no matter how desperate my need might grow in his absence, it will respond to his touch alone forever. Okay, if you're into gore, I can see where that back of the book part would get people off and why that's written in first person. It's just the breeding part thing that kind of, it's like, ew.
Okay. Sex machine.
Just a love machine. What is this? What, Dolomite? Who's the sexy sex machine? The fuck does she mean marked?
Maybe he peed on her.
I was thinking stretch marks.
Oh well. Okay, Sex Machine by Dana Harding.
Dana Harding. Wow. Okay.
Dr. Summers is a brilliant doctor and engineer, but she's
Dr. Summers is a doctor.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Really?
Dr. Summers is a doctor and an engineer. Dr. Summers is a brilliant doctor and engineer, but she has always had to conceal the fact that she's also beautiful, a beautiful, deeply sexual young woman.
Why would she need to do that? I'm sure a lot of scientists out there are like, wearing freaky lingerie underneath their lab coats.
You'd figure that would be the quota hire you'd want, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we have to hire a woman. Hey, let's get that one.
Well, no, I mean, like, I've seen those laboratories. I've seen, I've met the people that work in them.
It is kind of interesting. Scientists and after Gen X, that kind of changed.
Mm-hmm.
They started getting a bit more freaky.
Well,
look at Naomi Wu.
Well, even Greatest Generation, scientists. It's like,
yeah, those people were freaks.
You have your time where you are nose to the grindstone and you are working, but the second it's time to party, oh my God, the booze breaks out and the
Jack Parsons at JPL and
God,
what's his name, Northrop.
Yeah.
And at McDonald, they were all into weird cult sex and rituals and shit.
Yeah, what is it? With the bat, the demon,
the demon, the phantom, there was another one.
The bat, the demon, the phantom. Oh, Banshee.
Yeah,
the Banshee. For those of you who don't know, those are names of planes, and they were named that because they were into weird occult shit.
Okay.
So yeah, this idea of I have to, I'm a scientist and I have to hide the fact that I'm attractive and into sex. It's like, what the fuck do you mean? You'd be the weirdo if you weren't.
Or like Howard Hughes peeing in jars.
Shit. No, apparently his doubles knew how to party.
Yeah. Okay. Dr. Summers is a brilliant doctor and engineer, but she's always had to conceal the fact that she is also a beautiful, deeply sexual young woman. All that will change when she meets her new patient, a super soldier who is part machine, but still a man.
Wait, patient? She's an engineer, so she's not working in a laboratory. She's actually, is this a cyberpunk?
I don't know.
Is this a future thing?
Yeah, she's a doctor and an engineer.
She's a doctor and...
She should have said surgeon or medical or an MD.
Yeah.
He is part machine, but is a super soldier who is part machine, but still all man.
Mandong.
Once they get started, Dr. Summers doesn't care who sees what they do. But can she satisfy this superpowered man who seems to be so insatiable? Sex Machine is a story of erotic pleasure pushed beyond the limits of human capacity. Read and join Dr. Summers as she unleashes her wildest desires, just as you might unleash your own. Warning: this is an explicit story with a mortal woman and a powerful cyborg, and may not be appropriate for readers under the age of 18.
They really had to. Okay. That disclaimer is just funny because it's like, no shit. But second, can you get any more boring and dull? I can think of 10 different ways that you could take that concept of a doctor engineer working on Manborg and make it hell of a lot more erotic than how will she ever be able to satisfy him? And I'm betting you that's going to be one of the those taming stories. Where, yeah. Now, whether she's since she's being portrayed there as this sex kitten that she has to hide, either he's going to tame her or she's going to tame the savage man beast.
Okay, we've got some fun comments here.
It sounds like all these novels, the romance option is always a rapist. Well, a lot of these women really like being taken forcefully, or, I've said it before, every female, and if she says that she hasn't, she's lying. Every female has had at least one rape fantasy.
But has it involved two bears? Does every woman have a rape fantasy involving two bears?
Just
Dead air. We got to talk.
I'm sorry, I was laughing. I'm just picturing a young girl, playing with her teddy bear. Okay, we wonder why women run off to the Middle East to get married to patriarchal, illiberal backwards men.
Yeah, because they're insane.
Mm-hmm. That Choose Your Own Adventure you were talking about was probably Lone Wolf, written by Joe Denver, originally published by Mongoose. There was a whole series.
Oh, cool. I'll have to track that down. Yeah, that book that I got was really cool. As I recall, the story was, for some reason or another, you were on a space station that was a lab and something had gone horribly wrong. And you go through and apparently there was this essentially Frankenstein-type mad doctor.
And now you're a man-borg and your nurse wants...
No, I think you have a robot with you that's your assistant. Mm-hmm. And you're trying to find this mad doctor and you keep going through the lab, finding his mutants and traps. And the art was great. So thanks, GM Head. Yeah, your GM Head. That's a romance novel writer name, right?
That is a romance novelist title or author name. Wow, doctor and engineer and beautiful. What Mary Sue shit is this? It's the kind you fap off to.
Okay.
Dude, engineers from the old Hughes Aircraft Company were nuts and out of control. Yes, they were. Did I mention she's a world-famous billionaire bikini supermodel astrophysicist? Oh my God. Yeah. Sounds like her patent is patient is Tetsuo the Iron Man.
We're going to review that movie, by the way.
Yes.
You know what?
Actually, drill dick?
If he had a giant drill dick, I would read the story.
Yeah.
That sounds hilarious.
That would be hilarious.
Yeah, she thinks it's going to be this great looking guy and he looks like a pile of trash and has a big drill dick.
And strangely, she's turned on by this idea.
Okay, I think you got something there. It won't be hot, but it would be readable.
See, now, it isn't the description that we were given like the most boring, banal thing. Now you put a drill dick on a pile of trash, and it's interesting.
Okay.
It's like the pile of trash from Fraggle Rock, only with a dick.
Going along the theme of robot sex. All right. Sexbot by Patrick Quinlan.
Well, at least you know what you're going to get.
It was written by a man.
Well, it could be Patricia.
Patrick.
Yeah.
Patrick Quinlan. What if you could be immortal? What if the price was given up? You know what? Fuck it. I'm having trouble. I've read enough of these. You read this one.
Okay.
She's actually better at reading these out loud, but if I read them, we get to hear her reaction immediately.
What if you could be immortal? What if you could be immortal? And what if the prize was to give up the price? Oh, price. There we go. And what if the price was to give up everything first, including your very life? That doesn't make sense, but okay. Susan Jones is about to find out. A robotic scientist out of MIT, Susan is one of the inventors of the Sexbot, the world's most advanced robot sex toy. How does that lead to immortality? Anyway, Sexbots combine the cutting edge of robotics, sex dolls, and artificial intelligence into one sensational product. You're not telling me anything interesting. Make with the interesting. Marketed to the richest of the rich, they're beautiful, they're smart, and oh so sexy. So realistic, in fact, that they're almost more human than human themselves. Sex bots have made Susan and the company she works for, Suncoast Cybernetics, vastly wealthy. I'm getting a wasp woman vibe off of this, actually. I'm suddenly wanting to turn this into a horror story. If anybody is familiar with Wasp Woman, you know what I'm talking about. If not, I'll explain in a second. But Susan is working on a new project. She has stumbled upon the key to immortality, which is to download human awareness into intelligent machines.
This is pretty involved for a romance novel.
This is long. She conducts her first experiments on chimpanzees, and the process works. Why are you telling me this? I don't want to fuck chimpanzees.
A dude wrote this.
Yeah.
This was written by a dude. This is way too much information.
Yeah.
We don't know anything about her getting taken in the ass hard yet.
No. That's the other thing. Are her sex bots male, female, or both? Or are they bears? Robo bears?
All of the above.
Robears?
Werebear. Keep going.
Concerned by the ethics. This is a romance book. Why the fuck are ethics in this? Concerned by the ethics of the discovery, Susan tries to delay the project, but Suncoast is eager to move forward with human trials. I'm sorry, this is so stupid simply because I'm like, okay, make with the sex. Why are you telling me this?
Sex bot, where?
Yeah, where? Yeah, well, yeah, we have sex bots, but so far I'm not seeing sex bots, and I know nothing about the male who Susan is going to want to fuck, or female.
A dude wrote this. So.
CEO Howard Neal. Is this our fuck? Believes immortality will be worth hundreds of billions of dollars and wants to rush the product to market. That's not sexy. While company chairman James Walsh, now we have our love triangle, is dying of cancer. Are we going to fuck his cancer away? And wants to use the technology to save himself. This would make a great telenovela.
Yeah. Keep going. Come on.
The company sends the assassin, Mr. Blue and Mr. Green, to murder Susan at her home. Why do we need to know their names? Why not just... Why are we being told any of this shit? Are we now going to have a threesome between Blue and Green?
This is a case study on how not to write a back of the book blurb.
Yeah. Shit. Does Mr. Blue have blue balls and Mr. Green have a green dick? I mean, come on. Is he like my green monster? Just before they kill her, Susan runs to her private lab and downloads herself into the most intelligent machine she has at hand. Number 9, the prototype for the 9th generation of sex bots. Christ, where's the sexy? We're given sex bots. We're given 2 opportunities for love triangles here. Where the fuck's the sex? Number 9 is faster, stronger, and more sexual than any human. Define more sexual. Serious. That tells me nothing. Now Susan is inside number 9. Yes, we have established that. Dead and yet alive. No, not really. She downloaded herself. Her intelligence, at least, is very much alive. The question is whether or not her body is. And she's on the run. Pursued by Mr. Blue and the militarized security forces of the company. Well, what happened to Mr. Green? Did she, fuck him dead or something? And with a bomb inside of her set to go off in 24 hours. Why the fuck would you build this thing to do that?
We build our sex bots with bombs.
We figured your sexual exploits should go off with a bang.
Everyone's saying
you better fuck her before she fucks you. Where the fuck is this? 9 must use her smarts, her physical gifts. What physical gifts? You've told me not. You haven't even told me if she put herself into a male or a female body. So what physical gifts? And her hedonistic sexuality to survive, of which we've been given no indication even exists, other than the fact that we're told that she, quote unquote, has a big sexual appetite now. Sexbot is fast-paced, sexy, pedal to the metal adventure with twists, turns, and surprises galore. No, I think you just told me everything I need to know.
So we've just been given a blow-by-blow layout of the story, and I don't see how this is romantic or hot.
Romantic, hot, or where the sex is exactly, other than the fact that we know that there are bots and they were built to have sex.
Geez, I can't believe I'm running out.
Okay.
Okay, this is the last one.
Okay.
Assigned a Mate. Interstellar Brides, Book 1.
Interstellar Brides.
You're a little too far from the mic.
I'm sorry. Well, I was pulling back because my laughter was loud. I didn't want to blow people's ears out.
So the title's already got you here.
Interstellar Brides. I'm thinking of like Mud's Women.
Okay.
There you go. There's a romance novel. There, Mud's Women.
Assigned a Mate. Interstellar Brides, Book 1 by Grace Goodwin.
Oh, dear God, there's more of these.
And by the way, this is like a top seller. This is like a #1 bestseller. And apparently these series are like the best sellers of sci-fi romance.
Okay.
So get ready. When a potential threat against her life forces Eva Daly to seek shelter on another world, she has only one option available to her. She must offer herself to the Interstellar Brides program.
Because that is, of course, your only choice, is to sell yourself as a mail order bride.
After a deeply humiliating assessment of her suitability, Eva will be assigned to a mate and transported to his world to become his bride.
Okay.
Upon arriving on the planet Triton, Eva soon learns things that Eva soon learns things are quite different than the way that things are quite different than it used to be than the way she lived on Earth.
Well, with a name like Triton, does that mean all the men have 3 dicks? Are they like the echidnas where their dicks look like little hands?
Her assigned mate, the powerful, handsome High Counselor Tark, makes it very clear
Tarkin?
Makes it very clear that she will be expected to submit to him completely. And when she discovers that disobedience will earn her painful, embarrassing spankings on her bare bottom.
Okay. I'm actually seeing why a lot of women would like this book. It actually has a lot of the tropes that I know.
A powerful man who likes to spank his bad woman?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, spanking, a lot of women are really into spanking because it's playful and relatively harmless humiliation and takes them back to their daddy issues. I am not into spanking. It gets me rage points and I tend to get angry. But I know a lot of women who like to be spanked.
Okay, so. Yeah, I'll give a little. Well, no, we'll get derailed if we go down that path.
We can do that later.
So if she misbehaves, daddy spanks her.
Yeah, there's your daddy issues right there.
An intimate examination from her new mate leaves Eva blushing crimson.
Again with the intimate examinations.
But to her surprise, Turk's mastery of her body arouses her beyond anything she could have ever imagined. Soon enough, she finds herself naked, bound, and unable to resist the urge to beg for more skillful lovemaking that brings her to shattering climax after climax. It doesn't take long, however, for Eva to realize that there is much more to Tark than just his dominant brute. There's much more to Tark than just a dominant brute who will not hesitate to take on his misbehaving wife and put her over his knee and redden her bare bottom thoroughly. But just as her passion leaves her begging for more, just as her passion for him begins to blossom into love, see, I'm losing it here. Let me get events back on Earth threaten to tear their love apart. Can Eva find a way to remain at Tark's side and in his bed, or will she be left with nothing but memories of the man who has claimed her body and her heart? Publisher's note: Assigned a Mate is the first book in the Interstellar Brides series. It is an erotic romance novel which includes spanking scenes and sex scenes.
And these trigger warnings on these things are just stupid.
So, care to comment?
That actually is a basic run-of-the-mill type of romance book. There's nothing in there that seemed new or shocking, but at the same time, whoever wrote the back of the book definitely knew how to tell the audience exactly what they're going to be in for, and yet not fucking tell you everything. So, so it's still a mystery. So, not anything I'm into, but I can totally see why a lot of women would be into that. I mean, yeah, it has a healthy way to to explore your daddy issues. And there's nothing wrong with that, really. What?
So no, just and one more. His cock was a drill. By some Japanese guy.
By some Japanese guy.
Oh my God, his cock was a drill. Oh God, it was a drill.
By Okaku.
By Okaku Otaku, yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Bukaki. Otaku Bukaki.
So, what do you have to say about this journey we've been down, my dear?
Other than the fact that some of them were absolutely hilarious and just what the fuck were they thinking, I'm actually kind of disappointed with a lot of them. It's like that's really boring. You're not gonna take it to at least a 7. You're gonna hang out at the 5, huh? Because the 5, you're guaranteed the faps. You're not gonna take it to the next level. I mean, oh my God, these book covers. Ishii pulled up the book covers for some of these, and just wow, book covers for these romance novels have come a long way since Fabio.
I could, I compiled these in an hour today. Maybe I should go through and spend some serious time to get the really, really good ones, like the bear one. We could do another show like this.
Well, like taming their pet. It's like, yeah, that's totally gay. That does nothing to tell me that those guys are not gay. Okay.
Well, you want to read the back of that one?
I think they just have her there so they can play with her hair. My God, this description is long. What's with these? I know why. It's because girls have no imagination. Anyway, when the scheming of her father's political enemies makes it impossible to continue hiding the fact that she is an unauthorized third child, 20-year-old Isabella, wait, she's been able to hide for 20 years? She's an adult now. You go off, you pretend you're fucking an orphan. Shit. 20-year-old Isabella Bedard is sent to a detainment facility in deep space where she will be prepared for her new life as an alien's bride. Her situation is made far worse after some ill-advised mischief forces the strict warden to ensure that she is sold as quickly as possible. And before she knows it, Isabella is standing naked before 2 huge, roughly handsome alien men, helpless and utterly on display for their inspection. More disturbing still, the men make it clear that they are buying her not as a bride, but as a pet. Zach and Noah. Comes up with these names? Is that really the name of the guy you want to fuck? And these things. Zach and Noah have made a career of taming even the most headstrong of females, and they waste no time in teaching their new pet that her absolute obedience will be expected, and even the slightest defiance will earn her a painful, embarrassing, bare-bottom spanking, along with far more humiliating punishments if her behavior makes it necessary. Over the coming weeks, yes, there's more. Over the coming weeks, Isabella is trained as a pony and as a kitten, and she wear a bell. Thing is I know they do that. and she learns what it means to fully surrender her body to the bold dominance of two men who will not hesitate to claim her in any way they please. But though she cannot deny her helpless arousal at being so thoroughly mastered, can she truly allow herself to fall in love with men who keep her as a pet? Publisher's note: Taming Their Pet is a standalone novel, which is the third book in the Captive Bride series. It includes spankings and sexual scenes. If such material offends you, please don't buy this book. If you're a thorough moron, don't buy this book.
Do you think this is along the lines of the Roger Corman, if you're offended by scenes of violence, horror, nudity, don't see this movie?
I would, but with Roger Corman, that was part of the trailer, and you had that voice. So, it was more like a promise, not a warning.
Yeah, good point.
So it was part of the sales pitch. That is full on a, hey, there's fucking a woman pretending to be a pony scenes in here. You might not want to buy it if that's not your kink.
So this one, I just wanted to show you the title.
Hard Ride, a Rough Romance.
And it's got a cowboy on it.
Yes, a cowboy with a lasso.
Where he comes from, bad girls get ridden hard, then put away wet. So I think we're kind of running out of steam here. So yeah, I think I'll try and find some more ones that are even more over the top.
Oh my God. Yeah, because actually I was really disappointed with a lot of them. Again, it's like not even...
go off on why you're disappointed.
Well, I'm not even asking that they take it to 11. I'm just, take it to 7. Get a little out of the comfort zone there. Just a female doctor, has a manborg, come into her clinic and she wants to fuck him. Okay, that does not make a novel. Where's the conflict? Where's the problem? Does she have a human boyfriend who is upset that she is fucking this, this man dildo? Or, or are the people who are after Manborg, going to come to her and she has to save him while she's fucking him? I mean, what's the conflict here? There has to be some form of conflict in order to ramp up drama. All right, that's the other part of these romance novels. It's not just the sex. Yes, there's a lot to do with the sex, but there has to be drama. There needs to be drama to keep the heart racing in between the scenes where you're having sex, and you have to have conflict, and you have to have what if they don't get together, or what if she, now she has a choice between, which man she wants to fuck, or is he really a total and complete asshole who doesn't respect her? Or, does she love him? We don't know. She doesn't even know herself. I mean, there's supposed to be some form of drama in these things. That's why soap operas, work. And that's why telenovelas are so funny, is because of all the fucking drama. Yeah, there you go. You want a lesson on how to take it to 11? Telenovelas. That's how you take it to 11, and take it in the most bizarre ass fucking ways. And they have fucking all the time in telenovelas. So what? Look at those. What?
This is funny. So let's see what comments we got tonight.
Okay.
I noticed a real continual theme of spanking in these.
Yeah, there was a lot of them. That's the other thing, is just spanking. Okay, if you're into that, that's fine, but is that really the only way, the only place you're going to take that? Spanking? Well, she's, she needs to be taught a lesson or taught how to behave. I was like, well, okay, I know that that's a fetish and I can see that, but take it to the next level. I mean, what do you mean by being his slave? Where are you taking that? What are you going to do with that? You have two alpha males who are sharing her. I mean, the little that I know of B&D culture, when you're sharing your slaves, oftentimes it is a humiliating thing for the slave to be parceled out to another dom. It means that they've been bad and they're being taught a lesson because they're not going to be with their master for the night. So is that the situation with those things, or what type of relationship is that where the slave is being shared? There are so many different directions, and it's just obviously these people who are writing these books don't know anything about that culture. They're writing for people who want to be daring and diving into that stuff, and it's just really they're pedestrians who just like to be spanked or who really like the idea of fucking multiple guys, which is fine, which is perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But
A lot of them seem to be they got sold into slavery, and then guys took a train on her.
yeah, and if that really is your kink, okay, who am I to judge you? But as an editor, I expect the writer to do better. Just because you're writing fap off material fluff doesn't mean that you can slack off in storytelling.
So this is why I wanted to get you started on these. Other than the hilarious comments, which were the main reason, also you will actually take apart what works and what doesn't, regardless of what it is.
Well, like the one that you said is the #1 bestseller. At the very least, whoever wrote the back of the book knows what they're doing, because they tell you exactly what you're going to get, but they wrote it in such a way that it is a mystery, and it does allow for the reader to wonder what happens to this character. What is it exactly that she's put through? The only part that I thought was a little confused was things happen back on Earth that may split them. I'm like, she's been sold into slavery. She's owned. Why would she be separated from her owner unless she was left in the care of somebody that he lent her to, and then he went off to war without her? I mean, is that the separation that happens? We don't know. But overall, the back of the book at least did its job of telling you what to expect, and yet left enough of the story to be a mystery that I can see why a lot of people would buy it, especially if they're into those types of kinks. That's how you do it. I don't know the quality of the story. It's probably general fare, but still.
So let's see. We got some comments here.
Okay. Women.
Say who it's from.
Oh, this is from Nerve Clacks.
Okay.
Yeah. Women, written consent required. Also women, rape me, daddy. But you're consenting to be raped by your daddy.
Not if you're sold into slavery.
No, but the reader is consenting to be raped by their daddy.
Consenting to read it, I
Yes.
see. Let's see. Oh, yeah, Dandy Spike.
Looked up Interstellar Brides, and one of the covers is a shirtless guy holding a baby.
You don't even have to read the back of those novels. The covers and titles are hilarious alone. There's the Cyborg secret baby.
Oh my god. I get that stomach churning to me is, infants around anything that's supposed to be sexual. Oh fuck no. No, I don't. No. If you're a chicken, that's your thing. But for me, no.
You know what? Actually, let me punch that in.
Oh God, are you gonna pull it up? Rants?
Oh, sorry.
Cedrock. He looks like, is he supposed to be a man croc?
I don't know. Here we go. Look at these titles.
I'm more bored by the covers. A guy in his underwear with a different color splashed upon him. Okay. Cyborg secret baby.
The commander's mate. Matched and mated.
God.
Rogue cyborg. Cyborg seduction.
Tamed by the beast.
Cyborg fever. Tamed by the beast. I don't know.
God.
Mated to the warriors.
Her rogue mates. Wow. Taken by her mates. Claimed by the vixens.
Mating fever.
Their conquered bride. Wow.
So anyway, let's see what else we got here. Let's see.
Awful lot of compelled marriage programs in the universe. Yeah, isn't there? Amazing how that happens. I couldn't believe there were more than one alien bride book. Fiona Wolf, I've read the Safe Hold books.
Yeah, you would be shocked. There are just volumes upon volumes, all based around this Interstellar Brides program. And I mean, as a pure genius bit of marketing, because I've actually looked into this author, because this is one of the people we're considering. Well, I've got two minds. I mean, she's so successful, and we want to start interviewing more writers. I'm legitimately trying to think maybe we should get her on and just get her talking about her process.
Really?
Well, you said you could see why she's a bestseller.
Mm-hmm. No, I couldn't.
And I mean, they all seem to be the same story for the most part, over and over again.
That's romance books.
But I went to her website, and one of the first things, and this is genius marketing, is apparently there's a thing where you can they'll email you the Interstellar Brides list survey, and you're supposed to fill out the survey and send it back, and it'll tell you who you would be matched with.
Oh, God.
And then you know which series to follow.
That is genius. That is genius.
Yeah, that is brilliant marketing.
Again, it makes me wonder if anybody's done a rated X version of Mud's Women.
Oh, I'm sure they have. Okay.
Yeah, no bed hard, unlike her tart rival Vanessa Easy Lay. Yes, there more. Kat said, much to the dismay of chat.
Oh, were you really struggling through the sex bot one, where it was just one long plot synopsis showing us how dull it is?
Like, oh God, there's more. I think that was when I was reading the one you brought up on Amazon. This isn't my wife. This is my emotional support human.
I think that's the title of a book, Emotional Support Human.
I like that. You know, like how like with dogs, you have like the little badge on them that says that they are a helper dog. No, this is my helper human. This is my helper bitch.
Shit.
There was a website of letters rejected by Penthouse. It was pure satire. I wonder if we could do that stuff with romance.
Oh. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah. Want to read something not disappointing? Check out Case File Arkham. Yes, Case File Arkham is not disappointing, but it does have some sex in it, and some really hot women.
Yeah.
And some hot men, too. There is candy for everybody, and a really good story to boot.
Let's see. At this point, is there a difference between erotica and romance? I mean, I can't tell reading some of the backs of these books.
One's more honest. These novels were written by women who only allow anal on their boyfriend's birthday. That's hilarious, Nerve Clacks. Being passed around is the equivalent of not being a person. Women, man, stone cold crazy.
Let's see.
The man who said never judge a book by its cover has clearly never read or seen these kinds of books. Indeed, but some of them, honestly, it's like, okay, is the interior as boring as the cover is? Because nowadays the covers are just a guy who's half naked with some sort of photoshopped background, or a chick and a guy who are half naked with some sort of photoshopped background. I mean, you ever see those old Fabio covers that were painted, or even if they were photoshopped, they were photoshopped to look painted? I mean, care went into framing that image. They were epic. I mean, shoot, Ishii used one of those types of covers as the title card for this episode. I mean, that's an epic cover there. Shit's happening. There is feeling in her face. Just seeing a naked dude's back is not erotic. I mean, you don't even get an ass. He's in boxer shorts. And when it says it's like, human cyborg, you expect to see some sort of metal part, but there's not even a drill.
Okay, so.
But does it have sexy bear bots, like the Werebears?
Okay, AiA LK. Bubblegum, okay. It's Demon Seed, the 1977 film based on a book by Dean Koontz. Yeah, Demon Seed is kind of an incredible, I don't know, example of low-budget 70s sci-fi that it's like a lot of drugs in the 70s, weren't there? It kind of ends with the AI raping a woman so he can have a kid.
Dude.
And so I'm guessing that a romance version of this would be the AI rapes her so they can have a kid and she enjoys it versus being horrified.
Yeah.
My child will not so easily be ignored.
That just makes me think of that movie in the 90s, Virus.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I would show you Demon Seed because it's a laugh fest otherwise, but that rape scene I don't think you'd be okay with. I think that might get you kind of nauseous.
Is it up there with Galaxy of Terror?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, not into that. Thank you.
I mean, it's weird because she's attacked when the rape scene happens. The room fills with smoke and these geometric shapes start coming after her. And it's like, what am I seeing? And then out of nowhere, my God, machine sex.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I think.
I remember that shit traumatized me.
Okay, we've been on for an hour and a half. I'm running out of steam here.
Oh, I've been on for an hour and a half.
Shit. Thank you for joining us. Go buy my books. I want to thank everyone who gave to us on the Subscribe Star.
Yes, thank you.
We can now, I mean, we're not quite to the goal, but it doesn't matter. It's at a point now where we can afford to get the full membership, so we can start doing unlimited streaming.
Yes. So thank you all very much.
Massive thank you. We're good for a year, so awesome. And that should at least be long enough to keep you entertained during the plague.
And again, please go check out Pocket Universe Productions. They did the Titanium Rain audio drama for us. They've done EC Comics Presents because Lance Axe from Pocket Universe is going to be joining us this weekend. So go check out their works, listen to their samples, and tune in on Saturday to listen to us talk to Lance. And on the 01 Publishing website, 01publishing.com, you will find all digital books are 50% off till the end of the month. So go check that out.
All right. Thank you, everyone. And whatever you do not get molested by bears.
No. Good night, everybody.